foot, 185
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dakota State University Athletics presentation of Trojan sports. Tonight, Trojans take on Waldorf College Warriors. And so we're excited. We're going to have the national anthem here, and then we'll introduce tonight's starting lineups and the game. Good evening once again, everyone. Welcome to Trojan Field. Tonight, Dakota State University Trojans take on the Waldorf College Warriors. Good evening, everyone. I'm John Hunter, joined by Andy Hunter and our stellar crew up here in the booth. We've got about 2.5 minutes yet to game time. Enjoyed the national anthem. We'll have the captains coming across and meeting one another for the coin flip and so on. We've got a beautiful, beautiful sunny day here at Trojan Field in Madison. If you're in the Lake County area, we'd urge you to come out and support the Trojans. We have a nice blue and gold crowd on hand. You can see nice, I guess you can't see from the camera angle, but a great crowd on hand, alumni, students, and so on. So we're excited about getting this game underway. The sun is starting to set a little in the west, so there will be some tough looks back into the sun for teams going west. The quarterback will be looking into the sun. For teams going east, the receivers probably be looking back toward that. Nevertheless, it's a beautiful fall afternoon, and we'd urge you to come out if you can. Otherwise, thanks for joining us on DSUathletics.com. Dakota State University 1-1 so far this year. 2 non-conference games, a loss against Dakota Wesleyan, and a victory against Dordt College of Iowa last weekend. This is the 3rd game of a 3-game homestand. Trojans haven't started out in a 3-game homestand for many years, so it's a great start. This is the conference opener for the North Star Athletic Association. Waldorf College, a new entry into the conference, but the conference is only 3 years old. So in some senses, everyone's a new entry. So both teams are 0-0 in the conference and hoping to get off to the right start. All NSAA members are scheduled to play a total of 6 or 7 conference games, which includes a game at the end against a conference rival at the Fargo Dome on November 8th, a neutral site for all teams. So they will have either 5 or 6 conference games, either home or on the road, and then that final neutral site game will be set. The pairings for that game will take place after the completion of regular season games on October 31st. Dakota State and Waldorf have played 3 times previously to this. This is the fourth meeting, the second as NSAA members. DSU held on last time to defeat Waldorf in a high-scoring affair in the first ever NSAA conference meeting November 1st, 2014 at Forest City, Iowa. Trojans racked up 528 offensive yards in that last meeting. So we will get back to some of that in a minute. The kickoff goes through the back of the end zone, and Waldorf will take over 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line. 25-yard line. Come on. Let's get serious about getting things right here. Yep, we've got statisticians. They're stickler for details. What's 5 yards among friends? A lot, yeah, fair enough. So 1st and 10 from the 25. They're moving ball now to the opposite hash mark. Trojans blue uniforms with white pants. Waldorf Warriors white jerseys, purple pants, so pretty distinguishable on both sides. Warriors start out 3 wide right, 1 left, but they hand it off. First play of the game. Heads up field, we'll get about 5 yards out of that. So 2nd and 5 from about the 30-yard line. Here's the pass. He's got a receiver down. He's double covered there, but they will have some collision, but they will say no problem with that. It was not interference in any sorts. Nice double coverage by the Trojans. Andy, looks as though Waldorf is willing to air it out early here in the game with a 30 or 40-yard pass.
Yeah, they, with both sides of the game, just, take chances, win the game.
So run up the middle. That's going to gain about 6 yards, and that'll be a 1st down. They move the chains. Now Waldorf will take over at their own 37-yard line. 14:08 here remaining in the first quarter. We're just underway. No score either side. Waldorf again going east here, so the receivers will be looking back into the sun. Here's a pitch. Paget again carries the ball. Second and 7, 13:36 remaining in the quarter. I formation, handoff, quarterback read option. There's a flag on the field on the right side. But Cody Smith, quarterback, gets over toward the side. That'll stop the clock. We'll see what the flag is for. So penalty on the Trojans will make a 2nd and 2. It'll remain 2nd down. Ball now advancing to the Waldorf 45-yard line. Just 2 yards to move the chains again. 2 wide to each side. I back, now man in motion. Fake handoff inside, and Smith keeps it. Sophomore quarterback, 6'4", from Indianola, Iowa. So a couple familiar names in on the tackle, Potter and Cullis. So now 3rd and 1. Swing pass to the left side. Going to make it? Yes, they'll advance past the lines and they move the chains again. Very close to midfield now. Pollock, 3 carries, 15 yards. Just 1 pass attempt so far. Here's a fake handoff inside. It'll go left. And Pollock carries again. He looks as though he's going to be a workhorse today, Andy.
Yes. DSU is stacked on defense with a lot of All-American first-team players.
Yep. Cole Potter has a preseason pick, and so far living up to it. Set a Trojan record last year. Here's a breakthrough. Pollock is going to go down the left sideline, and he'll finally get out of bounds, but again, a long gain. He's really starting to put the yards together now. I guess he's past 40 yards already on this opening drive. 12:05 remaining first quarter, no score, but the Warriors now threatening there down to the 25-yard line, have a new 1st and 10. Here's Smith rolling right, sees his man wide open, button hook, and Vibert Green, the junior from Des Moines, was wide open. Again, he was looking back into the sun, but Smith put it right in the numbers, so he was able to pick up about 9 yards. That'll be a 2nd and 1 down to the 16-yard line. Near hash mark. Still, they send 2 wide receivers both directions. He's looking corner pattern. It's going to be a tough cat tackle. Can he make it? He's in. Touchdown. Levante Calhoun, the senior wide receiver from Washington, D.C., sheds a tackle and is able to skip into the end zone. Warriors made quick work of that, a 75-yard drive in 3.5 minutes. Seemed both running and passing game were effective so far. As we mentioned, Pollock more than 40 yards already. He's listed at 42 officially. That was a 16-yard touchdown pass from Smith to Calhoun. Now we'll go for the extra point, see if they can add that on. Boom, right up the middle. That's good. So that's the first score of the game. Waldorf Warriors 7, Trojans about to receive the ball for the first time. Remember, Trojans now hit the road 2 games. If you are interested in traveling, you've got a couple different places to go to. Next Saturday, a 1 o'clock start at Jamestown. That, again, a conference game, a conference rival. And then the following Saturday at St. Ambrose in Iowa. So you can head up to North Dakota or over to Iowa and then come back for the homecoming game against Trinity Bible October 3rd. So the Trojans, again, this is the 3rd game of a 3-game homestand. They'd love to finish it 2-1 before they hit the road, especially pick up that first conference win. That's a goal for the team every year, Andy, is to play well and win the conference.
Yes, it sure is. And we'd like to remind all listeners that if you guys don't want to drive down to North Dakota or Iowa the next 2 weeks, you can still get the game, as we are not going to be on the air, but KJAM will be doing the games on the road as well as home games. So you can check that out on the DSU site. Or
that'll be on FM 103.1 in the area.
And that will be both live audio and video, which you can access that at the DSU site, athletics.com.
So Brendan Waldner brings it up, has those noticeable shoes, and gets in a nice field position. 32-yard line. Trojans take over 1st and 10. No significant injuries that we're aware of. Opdahl and Waldner are split, as is Doug Hale. They rotate in about 5 different wide receivers there. Jeremy Christner, Offensive Player of the Week for the NSAA, is in the I position. Jacob Giles.
As well as Ben Kulos. They both had the honors.
Right. No, it was Nick Behrens.
Or Nick Behrens, I mean.
Nick Behrens was Special Teams Player of the Week. And having kicked well and punted well. All his punts averaged over 40 yards a punt last week and 4 for 4 on PATs. So now again, same formation, 2 wide to the left. Hale and Waldner instantly, they go to the air, and the Opdahl gets it, and he'll get up to about the 40-yard line, just short of the first down. But Giles, again, went to that weak side and found him right away. Now Hale switches to the other side, and you have 2 wide right and a one-on-one situation on the strong side. But he's going to give it to Christner, and he gets tripped up behind the line of scrimmage. That was a trip. It was not a tackle per se. So instantly, Trojans no huddle offense. Same formation. Opdahl and Hale to the right, Waldner to the left. Christner in the I formation. Giles in the shotgun. He snaps it back. He's looking, finds his man, and it's going to be Opdahl, and he easily gets the first down and gets past midfield to about the Waldorf 43-yard line. So Opdahl, a couple of quick catches on this drive, Andy. I suspect they're going to be looking for him all day.
Yes, they sure will be, as long as he's open.
Now Christner breaks it through. He's got one man to beat. Can he get past? Caught from behind. A couple of Waldorf Warriors sacrificing their body to bring Christner down, but a new first down. So we've had a lot of different receivers, Andy. I didn't mean to cut you off, but Opdahl pick up a couple. Waldner has had 6 in the first game. Nordling kicks. Here's Deviant Banks. He swings around. Picks up another chunk of yards. Again, they can rotate in Banks, the freshman from Leesville, Louisiana. And he stays in. Now Zach Wilkinson in at wide receiver, wide left for the Trojans. Here's the handoff to Banks. He's inside the 10, so we'll pick up. Well, that's not, yeah, that was a first down at the 10. I didn't think they had that, so it'll be, but they are too close to get another first down before getting in the end zone, so let's call it 2nd and goal from the 6-yard line.
I think we can get one on the 1.
So again, 2 wide right, 1 wide left. Giles calling something from scrimmage. Christner back in at the I-back. He goes into blocks, timing pattern. Who's going to get that one? Little wrestling, nothing there. A little bit of a dangerous pass. You're counting on a jump ball there. And it was so much of a floater that both of them had time to get up and work on that. But if you've got an edge on that, it's better to have a jump ball. But that was a pretty even matchup, so I thought a bit risky. Now 3rd and 6. Giles and Christner swings out right away. Who's he looking for? Now it goes to the other corner. And there is no call there. I believe he was probably out of bounds when he got hit. That looked like Waldner in that corner. So the Trojans not able to punch it in and looking for a field goal here. So Nick Behrens, the junior from Flandreau, comes in. Again, special teams NSAA Conference Player of the Week from last week's game. We'll try to get the field goal here and get the Trojans on the board. The snap, the kick, boom. Wow, Behrens just drills it and puts it on the track. 20 yards so well past the goalpost. So he's got some leg in case, Andy, they need that later to pick up a 30-yard field goal or something.
Yeah, whatever they can scrap up and score, and they got a good leg, so we'll see how they do on the long kick.
That's about a 23-yard field goal, but plenty to go, so maybe even up to 40 yards if he can punch that. So we'll see. Hopefully we won't need it necessarily, but it's nice to have that in your back pocket. Trojans will kick off from the east toward the west. So the Waldorf receivers won't have to look into the sun for that. Very few Waldorf fans, I think, traveled with the team, at least that judging by the visitors' stands across the way. You see a few purple shirts over there, but not very many. Dakota Wesleyan, of course, being such a close rival, brought a bunch of people from Mitchell. Here's Behrens. Boom. He brings it way back. We'll see if he's going to run back. He tries it about 5 yards deep. Let's see if he can get someplace. That's Vibert Green, and he's going to go out of bounds, probably around the what's the yard line there? 19. The flag on the play, we'll see what that is. Team still exchanging, so it does not appear as though we're going to re-kick. Holding on the return team, so that'll cost a few yards. So the ball goes all the way back to the 7-yard line. Boy, that's a big difference in that field position. 1st and 10 Waldorf. Smith hands off to Pollock. He's not going anywhere this time. They'll crunch him. 8:34 remaining. Waldorf Warriors 7, Dakota State Trojans 3. We're here at Trojan Field in Madison. A perfect football afternoon, evening. Let's call that a 3-yard loss. So 2nd and 13, again deep in the territory. They'll give it to Pollock again. This time he bounced outside. Can they contain him? They do. And I think the stop initiated by Summers, right? Justin Summers out there in defense. Okay. I'm sorry, Thomas Romack. They share a number. They're each number 4. Got enough players this year to fill out the numerical roster. 3rd and 11, big 3rd down play here for both teams. They swing it to the flat. Oh, what an open field tackle. Wow, guess who? Ben Koulos, the senior linebacker from Peoria, Arizona. Listed as just 5'9", but boy, he is a heck of a defensive player. Open field tackle on a good running back. And the Warriors will be forced to punt. They'll be deep in their own territory. Punter will probably be back as Dustin Wilkie will be back almost against to the back of the end zone. Waldner is at midfield, but I don't think he's going to have to wait back there. My guess is he will be able to advance on this. But remember, he's looking into the sun. He's holding up his hand over right now over his eyes. Let's see if Wilkie can get it up. Big punt. It's short. They're going to let it drop. Gets a little bit of a Waldorf roll, but goes sideways out of bounds, so not bad field position. They're in Waldorf territory to start this drive. 41-yard line, Andy. That's nice field position. So Trojans 3, Waldorf 7, 6.5 minutes remaining in the first quarter.
6:32.
Opdahl and Waldner on the near side, no wides to the right. Of course, Bobby Tisch at the tight end position. Christner's going to get dragged down behind the line of scrimmage, a loss of about, well, they'll only have a loss of about 2 with forward progress, even though it looked as though it was maybe a 4-yard loss. Now the wides head to the other side. 2 tight end formation. Giles takes a snap, fumbles it for a second. Oh, beautiful swing pass to Christner, but too long, and he knew it when he threw it. The right angle, too much distance. Third and 12 for the Trojans. This drive not starting out like they would hope. But a big third down conversion here could do something. Now Trojans have 3 wide receivers. Not doing anything crazy with formations so far, just relying on the skill players. Oh, and a beautiful catch by Opdahl. I think that was, yes. And Giles completes, but not enough for the first down. And they will bring in Behrens. He's both the kicker and the punter, so we will see what they can do here. I would guess this would be a punting situation. So they'll try to get it high, maybe put it into a corner. Just 2 blocking backs this time. And just gets a nice little corner kick. Oh, beautiful. Stop it. And did he do it? Yes, he did. Close to the goal line. Wow. I believe that was Spencer Carlson who did that. The ball's going to be down. Well, the ball will be placed at the 20. I'm not sure on that ruling exactly there. So Waldorf takes over. 5:10 remaining. They lead 7-3. First quarter action here at Trojan Field. Here's a keeper by Smith. Tries to turn in, spins, gets outside, no gain. Good defense by the Trojans. Again, running that quarterback option is so popular in the conference these days. Ball now on the 22-yard line, 2nd and 8, 4:43 remaining. Here's a handoff, tries to give him a little shove forward, doesn't go anywhere. So fair number of substitutions on the third and long package for the Trojans. 5 new defenders. So it looks like mostly man coverage. Strong rush. They throw the flare. This was intended, I think, to be a screen pass, but didn't have time to develop. And Waldorf will be forced to punt. They made a little position. Remember last time they punted from about their 5-yard line. Now they'll be able to punt from about the 24. So a little back and forth. Each team scored once. First drive, Waldorf scores a touchdown. Trojans later get a field goal, so 7-3, Waldorf leading at this point. 4th and 7 from the 23. Here's the snap. And it goes straight back and bounces toward back toward Waldorf. Actually goes to the 39-yard, not very far advanced. Gosh, but they're at the 25, and they only make it to the 39-yard line. Net gain of just 14 yards. The Trojans will take over 1st and 10 from the 39 of Waldorf. Let's see if they can get in the end zone this time with a touchdown. Trojan had a nice victory last week, 28-24 over Dort. Christner scoring the winning touchdown. Oh, nice block. Giles has a man down the middle. It's Waldner. Can he get it? He does! Down to the 1-yard line, Brendan Waldner from Jacob Giles. Beautiful pass, high spiral. Waldner looked back before his defender did. Hauls it in. And 1st and goal now from about the 1-yard line. Hagen Hines in the game for the first time now at running back. Remember, we had Banks and Christner earlier. Giles holds on to it. He's going to head in. And they'll say down. Did not make it. I thought he made it, but nope. They'll keep it at about the 1 yard line. So 2nd and goal from the 1. Giles tried to stretch it out a little bit, but I thought he was exposing the ball a little bit, worrying about the fumble. This time, Christner up close, and Banks way back. They're going to give it to Christner, and he's in. Touchdown, Trojans. Usually Christner starts out hands on his knees. This time he went into the 3-point set and just charged forward. Used the power there. 2:53 is the official time on that. Trojans go up 9-7. We'll see if Barons can complete the PAT here.
4:51.
And it's up and good. So Trojans now a touchdown after that early field goal. Take the lead. Conference opener, North Star Athletic Association here at Trojan Field. And so we'll take a quick break, about a 60-second break. We'll be back here on DSUathletics.com. We're back at Trojan Field. Waldorf takes the return kickoff back a few yards, and we'll start out 1st and 10 on the 24-yard line. Here's a false start flag right away. So Waldorf will back it up a little bit. Offensive lineman James Campos, a junior from Lemoore, California. 2:45 remaining in the quarter. 3 scoring drives already for the two teams. Trojans a touchdown and field goal, and Waldorf a touchdown. Since that opening drive, though, Waldorf has not been able to generate the offense that they did in that opening drive. It appeared as though they were walking down the field. Here's Smith. Can't find a receiver. He's going to try to head up. Can he make a break? Boom! There's a beautiful tackle flying out of nowhere. And guess who? Ben Kulos. He knew once Smith couldn't find his receivers, he just made a beeline right for Smith and really drilled him. We see 2 injured Warriors down, plus a holding penalty for all this. We don't know how those players got hurt, or if those are cramps or what those are, but
we don't know where the ball is. Yeah, I don't know where the ball is.
2:23 remaining.
16.
Trojans decline the penalty. So they'll take the loss. They will reset the game clock, add 9 seconds back to it. Jacob Delano, the junior, who was called for the hold, ends up coming off the field. He walks under his own power, but Anthony Romaldo, I believe, is the other player, and he is more seriously hurt. He can't bear, doesn't look like he can bear any weight on his left leg. Can't tell if it's an ankle, knee, break, or whatever that is. He gets to the sideline, and I suspect he will not return. Clock starts. Waldorf sends 3 wide to the left, 1 to the right. Smith immediately looks, boom, almost gets the sack. But nice defensive coverage. Tyler Pogemeyer. Again, these guys, these Trojan defenders really have a nose for the ball, Andy.
Yes, they sure do.
1:55 remaining in the quarter. 3rd and 17 now. Let's see if the Trojans can hold them and get another good field position. Twice they've started their drives in Waldorf territory. A flipped, and here's a defender. That's going to be intercepted. And Derek DeVries, the sophomore from Lenox. Yeah, this Dakota State defense really starting to show off now. Interceptions, sacks, nose for the ball. Just a great defensive effort. And again, this all in contrast to that first drive where Waldorf went 75 yards in 3.5 minutes. Now Trojans, for the 3rd consecutive drive, start out in Waldorf territory, now at the 48-yard line. Not a lot of advance on that, frankly, by intercepting it. You do get the ball, you guarantee yourself possession, but this is probably where a punt would have ended up. Christner, swarmed, and he will lose yardage.
And it looked like the pass kind of died down because it really didn't go where the quarterback wanted it to, because it went right to the DSU defender. Kind of looked like he was passing it to DSU on the opposite field.
Right.
The opposite team.
So here's Giles in the shotgun. He's got Christner swinging around. Giles, he's got some pursuit. What'll he do? Throws it out of play. Again, Giles is looking into the sun. Could be difficult to see his receivers down there. Again, if you start this game at 1 o'clock, the sun will be mostly overhead and a bit to the south. If you start this game an hour later, at let's say 7 or so, sun's probably starting to set by then, but this is a tough time of day to look into that sun. 1:01 remaining, first quarter. Trojans now 3rd and 11 on that incomplete pass. Giles throws it way long. He's got the arm strength, but sometimes it doesn't look like he can control that, Andy.
Yeah.
Barons looks like he'll get a chance to punt again. When we use that running punt, it looks like he kind of surveys the field. If Waldorf just sends everybody back, he might just run it, but another beautiful one. Right out of bounds. It'll be inside the 20. Let's see where they mark it. And they'll do that inside the 15, actually at about the 13-yard line. Waldorf takes over. Most of this game taking place in Waldorf territory. Warriors can't seem to get out of it, and the Trojans have twice made the end zone. Other times had to punt. But nevertheless, we're not playing at the in the Trojan territory so much yet.
Just that one drive, the 65.
Right. 75-yard
yards
drive.
by.
Here's Smith, throws it out to the flat. They're going to pick up a few yards, let's say 4.
Yeah, who caught it?
Couple of quick statistics, interesting. First downs even, Dakota State and Waldorf each with 4. Rushing yards, a slight advantage to Waldorf, 43. I believe 42 of that was in that opening drive, so 1 net rushing yard since the opening drive. 2nd and 5. Boom, Pollock gets up the middle. He'll break through for the first down. Tackled up near the 30-yard line. One of the longer runs of the day for him. His longest actually is 18 yards. So there's the end of the first quarter. The score, Trojans 10, Waldorf 7. We'll take a 60-second break here on DSUathletics.com. We're back at Trojan Field. Trojans lead 10-7, beginning of the second quarter. Waldorf College has the ball, 1st and 10 on their own 29. Now they're looking into some. Here's and again, a great open field tackle. Dan Gandali, the senior from Buffalo, Minnesota. And that's, frankly, a key skill for this conference, at least. You get plenty of one-on-one coverage. You need to make that tackle in the open field. Two wide to the right, an up back and an I back in this formation. Smith hands it to the I back. That's Pollock. He bounces, no gain, or maybe a small gain. 3rd and 12, ball in the 27. Pollock now has 10 carries. That's a big load. End up, if they keep at this pace, would end up close to 40 carries for the game.
That's a lot of carries.
It is a lot of carries. I don't think they'll probably get to that point. They'll either have to use another running back or start making some pass. So timeout on the field. The score, DSU Trojans 10, Waldorf Warriors 7, 13:59. 13:59 remaining in the first half. Trojans take that timeout. They still have 2 remaining in this half. As we mentioned, this is the 4th meeting between Dakota State and Waldorf. Dakota owns that all-time series lead 3-0. Series began in 2005. And the Warriors were up 2-0 on a safety at halftime. Trojans exploded for 16 points in the third quarter and won 16-2. Second time they met was here in Madison, 2006, a year later. Dakota State outscored Waldorf 13-0 in the final quarter to win 31-23. And last time, of course, we talked about that high-scoring game when Dakota State won 51-41. Here's Smith back to pass. He's got two receivers. He's got one open, and there it is. Great catch near midfield. So biggest gain of the day for Waldorf. Lamont Johnson Jr. from Detroit picks that one up. There were two wide receivers to the left side that time, and Smith could have thrown either one. Now he has a little button hook inside, and that's not going to go anywhere. Maybe a 2-yard gain. Trying to spread the ball around a little bit. Miguel Montañez, freshman from Hollywood, Florida. 2nd and 8, 41-yard line of the Trojans. Get this. This is the second drive that Waldorf has made some progress. Oh, wide open. Oh, that's a broken coverage there, and that's going to be a touchdown for Waldorf. Holy smokes.
It's the same thing as their opening drive
Lamont,
for that touchdown, just the nice open pass field.
Lamont Johnson broke through, and it was past the defenders. All it needed was a good pass, and there was no doubt about that one. So Waldorf takes the lead now. They're up 13-10. Going to try to hustle on and get a holder. Kicker was waiting and said, what do I have to do, drop kick this thing? They get the holder in there. Still plenty of time, frankly, on the play clock. There's 14 seconds left, but a quick sprint. We'll see how this plays out. Maybe you'll be so tired it won't work. Boom. Straight up, and the Warriors take a 14-10 lead. 12:55 remaining in the first half. Andy, a little more offense this game than that Dort game, which, of course, was a great victory for the Trojans. They were trailing 24-21 in the fourth quarter, and they rallied back with a game-winning drive, highlighted by Jeremy Christner's 11-yard touchdown. Nevertheless, you can see 28-24, and we're already at 14-10, and we just finished the first quarter.
Yes, back to that game last week, Jeremy Christian had just about 200 yards in that game. It was mostly just a ground attack, and it was a great win for the Trojans to even their season up at 1-1. And tonight it's been back and forth, a touchdown and a field goal for DSU, and 2 touchdowns now for the opposing team.
And Waldorf will kick off now from the 35-yard line. Waldner and Banks back to receive. Again, Waldorf kicking into the sun, so Banks and Waldner should be able to see this pretty clearly. Let's see what they do with the kick, and they'll just try to go as long as they can. Banks will take it at about the 3-yard line. He's got some blockers. This looks good. See if he can make it out. He's heading up the right sideline. Can he make it? He's down to the 40, 35, and down to the 31-yard line. Davian Banks.
Wow, what a run.
It was a great run. And part of the key is that it was a bit of a line drive. Not much hang time on that. So Banks took it at the 3-yard line, but it was well before the coverage was able to get down. So he was running at almost full speed. By the time he met the defenders right around the 20, Waldner got ahead of him because it was obvious right away that the kick was going to go to Banks. So Waldner came up and it was a lead blocker. Now Giles hands off to Christner. He's going to the right side, trying to use some power. And we'll pick up about 3 yards on the carry. So Christner with 20 yards now on 6 carries. So not a breakout game, as Andy mentioned, 188 yards in last week's game. So we're so far we're playing alternating games as to how strong it is. Here's a pitch from Giles to Christner. And again, they take out a whole bunch of equipment and players and everything. No call for out of late hits or anything. Good clean football. When Christner picks up a little bit more, he'll now probably 2 more yards, let's say. So not a particularly big running game so far for Jeremy Christner. That was a pitch, of course. Giles hands it off again on that option. He's looking at the reads to see what the defense is going to give and then choose to hand it off or pull it back. So 4th and 2, Trojans are going to go for it. 11:40 remaining in the second quarter. Giles gets the play call. Still 20 seconds on the shot clock. They play as though they're hurrying up. Now, Christner goes into the I formation. Opdahl, the lone wide receiver on the right side. Nordling in for the first time now. And they call for the option. Giles hands it off to Christner. Not the right call. Jacob knew it right away. And the Trojans are stopped. Waldorf takes over. So, Andy, Nordling in the game for the first time. Glad to see that he's not injured or anything. He didn't, after being second on the team in receptions in the opening game against Dakota Wesleyan with 5, he didn't have any receptions last week. I was worried that back problem was flaring up again. Nevertheless, he's now in the game. Just a freshman, redshirt freshman, so he will have lots of time in his Trojan career. And here's Alex Pierre, the freshman running back from Miami, Florida. That is his first run of the game. Pollock and Smith have taken all the rushes so far, 14 of them. 12 passing attempts, so pretty balanced pass and run for the Warriors. It'll be 2nd and 7, ball at the 29-yard line. 2 wide left, 1 to the right. Here's to Pierre again. He'll get another yard or 2. Third and 5, big third down play. Let's see if Waldorf can convert. And that will not be enough. You hear Vibert Green being called by the public address announcer, but that is Alex Pierre. Green is a wide receiver. But I can't blame them. The uniforms are a light-colored number on a white jersey. A little hard to read. Trojans much better. Waldorf calls timeout. Each team now with 2 timeouts remaining. So, Andy, a nice quick stop there. And looks as though the Trojans will get the ball back in decent field position.
Yeah, it was a good stop, with that last play when they tried and went for it on 4th down and couldn't convert, and they come right back and they play good defense and get the ball back. So very good defense as they've shown all year this year. And now let's see if we can get the score back to take the lead once again.
Defense has looked really good, although they have those couple of scoring drives, and of course the missed coverage there on the touchdown. So 14-10 lead in favor of Waldorf. They're back on the field. Fourth and 2. Waldner back at about the 25-yard line to receive. They check, make sure he goes. Nice punt. It's up in the air. Waldner calls for the fair catch. He'll take it at about the 31-yard line. 9:40 remaining before half. Plenty of time for a drive. Members support other Trojan sports. Volleyball going to be starting out their home season on the 26th. Cross country. The Blakely Invitational this morning. We don't have results for that. But a 10:30 start for the women, about 11:15 for the men. With a successful cross-country teams, both men and women. Here's Giles. He's got lots of time. Instead, he scrambles. He looks up the field, tries to get a move, and picks up a few yards. Nice open field tackle. Like Preston Landon was the tackler there, the senior defensive back. Giles just had him to beat in a nice open field tackle. Opdahl comes wide to the near side, ball on the close hash mark, so Trojans in this case send two wide receivers to the right. Oh, breaks through. Hagen Hines, the freshman from Bluffdale, Utah. Under 9 minutes remaining. Boom! Oh, crushes Hines. If you can rush that fast enough, Andy, the defender can get either the quarterback or the running back because they're right next to each other. It's a matter of speed and getting in there in time.
Right.
So Trojans take a loss there, about 3 yards. They'll face a 2nd and 13, ball on their own 46. Giles throws to Opdahl. He comes outside, gets a stiff arm, picks up about 8 or 9 yards. Keith Bundy having some challenges over in the public address announcer. Bless him. Here's Giles. He's got Hines. A swing. He gets it to him. Can he make it up here? Oh, he breaks one tackle, but another guy comes up and who does not get the first down. Trojans look like they're going to go for it here. Fourth and 3. Maybe a 4th and 2. Two wide right. Hale in the game now. Oh, and a quick kick from Giles. No one there, and it bounces favorably to the Trojans. It's going to be inside the 10-yard line, down to about the 6. Boy, what a valuable tool to have is Giles being able to punt that accurately. So you line up to go for it on 4th and 2 in the shotgun. Giles just kicks it over the head of everyone. It gets to roll as far as it did. So we'll take a quick break, a 30-second break here on DSUathletics.com. Smith completes it to Vibert Green. But the penalty will bring that back. Looks like a holding penalty. No, ineligible lineman downfield. So they go half the distance from the 6 down to about the 3-yard line. And the Warriors will face a 1st and 13. Smith in the end zone in the shotgun. Hands it to Pierre. He breaks through, and he's going to get a first down out of this one. Nope, he's short of the first down by about a yard. But a 12-yard run for Alex Pierre. He'll end up with about 20 yards now. Looks like maybe an 11-yard gain. 2nd and 2. Hands off again. No. Smith is going to keep it. Oh, nice. What a great tackle. Danny Jordan, the junior cornerback from Lakeview Terrace, California. Again, by and large, great defense. It wouldn't necessarily be giving up 14 points in the first quarter and a fraction. Nevertheless, had great, I think, great defense otherwise. 6:13 remaining. Of course, the winter sports program's going as well. Men's and women's basketball just getting underway with their practices. They start their season relatively early this year, late October. And again, those seasons cross semesters. A little bit more challenging for the student athletes than the fall sports, who can concentrate mostly on bulking up your academics in the spring, maybe taking a little lighter load in the fall. And same with the baseball and softball in the spring. 10 varsity sports for the Trojans in the North Star Athletic Association. 5 women and 5 men's sports. Trojans having a nice run of success in almost all sports right now. Newly formed Trojan Athletic Club trying to boost athletics here even further at Dakota State. 3rd and 2, 6:13 remaining in the second quarter. Smith in the shotgun. He's looking upfield. Sees the receiver tipped away. No good. Looked like defended there by Pogemeyer. So it'll be a 4th and 2, and it looks as though they bring on their kicking team. Dustin Wilkie back right on his own goal line. Waldner's back at this Trojan 40, but again, I don't think he's going to need all that room. Better to run up on it, though, than run back. And he won't have any trouble. Last time called for the fair catch. Let's see how Wilkie's punt goes. Good one. It'll be well short of that. It'll land at about the 45-yard line. But gets the long roll, and frustrating for Brendan. He wasn't sure what he should have done with that, but lets it roll, and the ball will get inside the Trojan 40. And the Trojans will take over 1st and 10 with 5:55 remaining in the second quarter. They trail by 4 points. Would love to take a lead before half. Plenty of time for a nice drive here. You don't have to worry about stopping the clock. Waldorf has 1 timeout yet in this half. Trojans have 2. Jeremy Christner back in the I formation. Again, Trojans running 3 different running backs there. Christner, Banks, and Hines, as well as Giles running the leather a little bit. Here's a fire out, down and out to the side to Waldner, incomplete. Giles now 6 for 12, 87 yards, no interceptions, no touchdowns. Trojans' only touchdown on a Jeremy Christner dive. Now Giles in trouble, but he scrambles out of it. Looking way downfield, he's got his receiver, Waldner, but it's too far out of bounds. Brendan tried to reach out there and grab it one-handed, but too far out of bounds. Giles did avoid a deep loss, though. Now Nordling back in at wide receiver in the slot position. He's on the right side with Opdahl. Waldner on the left. Giles takes the snap. Now there's Bobby Tisch, and that's the play you want. Gets about a almost, let's call it 8 yards. So it'll be a 4th and 3. They had to get up a quick lineup. Now they take their time. 24 seconds on the play clock. Waldorf had to scramble a little bit. Giles under center, which isn't usually what he does. And he, as a quarterback keeper, he will get through, and they will call timeout. Oh, that's frustrating for Giles, who broke through and got the first down. But the whistle blew, and no play there. So the Trojans now also with 1 timeout. 5:01 remaining, second quarter here at Trojan Field.
First and 10 for Dakota State. Oh, first and 10. 4th and 2. What was I saying? And Barons kicks it out of bounds to the left.
Their punt goes out of bounds.
And Waldorf will take over
Waldorf takes over. First and 10 at their 27.
right around the 27-yard line. Under 5 minutes remaining in the second quarter.
There's one person.
We'll see if we can get a guest at halftime if Jeff Dittman will come. He joined us last week to give us a quick update on Trojan sports. Here's a quick pass, complete.
Isaac Sanchez pass complete. For a gain of 4, 2nd and 6.
Who is that?
Eddie Jordan on the tackle for the Trojans.
So a little change of pace here. Isaac Sanchez in at quarterback. It looks like Smith has gone to a wide receiver position. We're going to have to confirm that. Again, light-colored numbers on jerseys, but Sanchez is definitely the quarterback. The junior, 5'11", 207 from Beaumont, California. 3 wide receivers to the left, 1 right. We're under 4 minutes remaining before half. 1 timeout for each play. Sanchez fakes. Now he tries to scramble himself. No gain, but a flag on the play. So we'll see what the flag's about. Clock stops, of course. It's holding, so the ball will be moved back. Officials still working out details. Oh, they're going to decline that, and so it'll be 4th down. So the punting team in. Dustin Wilkie back to punt. And Waldner set to receive back at about the 30-yard line. Booming kick. Waldner calls for the fair catch, lets it go. And that's going to be down at about the 15-yard line. So a long drive upcoming for the Trojans. They have 3 minutes and 18 seconds to make something happen here. It'll require at least one big play. Trojans, now this sun is setting a little bit. You can actually see the community center building is blocking the sun in Trojan territory. I don't know how clearly you can see that on your screen, but no sun problems where they are. But if they make it to midfield, the sun comes back into play. Here's Giles looking downfield. He sees Opdahl. He's open, and that pass broken up. No call. I think the Trojan fans at least wanted a call there. It hung up just a little bit, allowing that defender to come in and knock that away. So incomplete pass for the Trojans. They'll face 2nd and 10. Ball in the 15. 3:12 remaining. It looked like it. Okay, here's Giles. Now he goes downfield to Opdahl again. A beautiful catch, almost. He had it for a moment, but he was out of bounds anyway. So Giles has had a couple of passes like that. They were about 2 yards out of bounds. And then, but the receiver had no way of bringing that in fair territory. The other time was Waldner down the left side. Now 3rd and 10. They're in a pass formation again. This time intercepted. And his knee was down, so they will call that down. Waldorf, of course, wanted the run back, but so with less than 3 minutes, Waldorf has a chance to add to its lead.
Well, he still thinks that it was still a touchdown.
I know. Yeah, kind of dancing and enjoying that.
Yeah.
But nothing to enjoy, folks. It was his knee was down. That's college football, the rules. Now, Trojans still trying to get organized. Sanchez waits for them, though. 2 wide receivers each side for Waldorf. Hands off to the I-back. That's Pierre. He bumps free. Gets a few more yards, but Kulos and Hunter Smith, the junior from Sioux Falls, also in on the tackle. 2:35, clock continues to run. Play clock at 20 seconds, so no rush. They're on the near hash mark, looking all the way across to get the plays. Still, they stuffed 2 wide receivers to the left side here in a very small area. Now they send one in motion, and that's the handoff. And that's Vibert Green. He's heading down the sidelines. He's going to be out of bounds, and the clock stops.
Well, that was a good push-off to save the touchdown there by the Trojans' defense there.
So they were to push him out of bounds inside the 10, so let's say about the 7. So now a 1st and goal with 2 minutes to play. This will be a real challenge for the Trojans' defense. See if they can keep Waldorf from scoring a touchdown. I think they'd probably be satisfied even if they got a field goal here. Boom! Sanchez just gets crunched. And he was thinking about handing off, but I'm not. Don't know. That probably would have worked better. Alvins Alcanord, a freshman from Pompano Beach, Florida, could have gotten that. But now we're at 1:27. Sanchez calling for a play from the sideline. 3 wide receivers to the left. We'd guess they would. No, they pass, hand it off to Pierre, and he gets drilled. No gain. Now they're back really about the 11-yard line, having lost about 5 yards on those last 2 plays. Clock does stop with the timeout, the final timeout for Waldorf. Again, Waldorf leads 14-10, a minute 9 just before halftime. Beautiful evening here at Trojan Field. If you're in the area, we'd still urge you to come out and watch the game in person. We'll have a halftime show, the band getting organized.
It's good to be in Dakota territory.
DSU pep band here as well. That the marching band is not the DSU band. Not sure who that is, but that's the Madison band, or I can't tell what school that is representing. Do you know, Andy, what school is marching at halftime?
No, I do not.
All right, here's the big play, 3rd and 9. Probably the final shot at the end zone. They would likely kick a field goal if they just don't work. Here's Sanchez. Boom, he gets hit. And he's not going anywhere. Gang tackled. And for a loss back to about the 14. So that would make about a 31-yard field goal attempt. Having lost a few yards there. Clock continues to run. So Wilkie will get a chance at it. He's lining it up. They're at about the middle of the field. That would be a slight advantage. 31 seconds, but just 7 on the play clock. They'll have to snap it. With 4 seconds, they do, and that looks like it's going to be good. Dustin Wilkie puts it. It looked like it was heading toward the left goalpost, but both officials raised their arm. It's good, and so now a 17-10 Waldorf lead. Still 22 seconds left. They'll kick it off for the Trojans. Sun setting now, so as we approach halftime, the sun will no longer be a factor in this game. Lights have been on the whole time here. As the teams come back, it'll be a little darker on the field. Nevertheless, it appears as though it's going to be a 1-touchdown difference as they go into the locker room. Wilkie will kick off. Again, 22 seconds remaining.
How about a run back to tie the game into halftime?
I wouldn't mind that one bit. Devian Banks.
We almost had one last time.
Banks is capable of it. 5'8", 170, freshman running back. Now they put Waldner in the middle as an up back in case they just pooch it into the middle. You'd still have a capable run back. Bobby Tisch is in there, good hands. Some of your starting offensive players. They squib kick it to Waldner. And he steps his knee down, so just 2 seconds taken off the clock. But he was able to stop that from going down. So the Trojans have field position starting at their own 32-yard line, so still 68 yards to go. Probably 3 plays, depending on the length and so on. Trojans have 1 timeout that they can use if they need to, a running play or if the ball stays in bounds. Remember, the clock stops momentarily to move the chains, but starts up right again after that. Incomplete passes, the clock will stop as any play out of bounds. Here's Giles. He's back to pass. He's going to look long. He scrambles out to the left, being chased. Goes way downfield. He's got Waldner. No, could not complete, but way back. There's going to be a flag on the play. Opdahl looks like he may have hurt his hand or something. I don't know what that call is going to be, but it came from the official way back. Threw it toward Opdahl and Preston Landon, senior defensive back. That play did take off 10 seconds on the clock, but let's see what the penalty is about. That's a big gain. Personal foul. So even though it took 10 seconds off the clock, Trojans advance 15, about 15 yards. Now Giles back to pass. He's got a rush on. He's in trouble. Throws the ball. Waldner tries to get back to it. Cannot hang on. Again, headed toward the sideline, but knocked another 7 seconds on the clock, so this will be the last play of the game. Oh, excuse me, the half. So Trojans use their final timeout. They will come over and try to work out some sort of razzle-dazzle here. Nordling again in the game. Zach Wilkinson looks like he may be in on this one. We'll see how it lines up. There's still plenty of time. After the halftime whistle blows, we will take a break and come back. Andy will have some statistics for us for the first half statistics and get ready for the second half. Again, this is the opening game of the North Star Athletic Association Conference schedule for both teams. And both of them would like to get off on the right start. You can hear the pep band, and again, we've got bands lined up. It sure looks like, there might even be 2 bands there.
Now, uniquely in football, in this conference, that there's no tiebreaker. So if you tie a team, you have what they call the shared title.
Okay, and he hands it off to Banks. Boom. And coughs up the fumble. Banks doing a lot of scrambling, then it gets hit really hard. Coughs up the ball. And that's the end of the first half. So the Trojans trail Waldorf 10-17. We'll take about a 15-minute break, and we'll come back here at Trojan Field for the second half in this North Star Athletic Association Conference at Trojan Field.
Zap, bang, pow. DSU students have special powers as they wield tablet PCs on a campus with 100% wireless internet access where 90% of the class seats are powered to recharge. Learn more at dsu.edu. Technically, we're better.
What does All-American mean to you? Service, selection, and excellence. At Prostrado All-American Auto Mall, we've been committed to serving you and your vehicle since 1957. With more than 400 new and used GMs, Fords, and Chryslers to choose from, we value selection. We also strive for excellence every single day. Our friendly, knowledgeable, and highly trained staff is always available to help you. Service, selection, and excellence. That's our All-American promise at Prostrado All-American Auto Mall in Madison or online at ProstradoAutomall.com.
From welcoming our latest just-born miracle to providing compassionate care for our most experienced seniors, Madison Community Hospital is in touch with life. This is where you'll find expert medical professionals who know how to help and heal you, and probably even know you by name. When you need us, we're right here, providing world-class health care in a hometown hospital. Madison Community Hospital, in touch with life.
I might say, wow, DSU students have special powers. But then you'd picture a crew of Cape Commandos locked in epic battle mode with troglodyte scientists and big brain ninjas. Which is beside the fact that DSU students wield tablet PCs so they can study with confidence on a campus with 100% wireless internet access where 90% of the class seats are powered to recharge. A quick pick of what makes DSU students especially powerful. Learn more at dsu.edu. Technically, we're better. I might...
He shoots, he scores! Right, and it just left the kick in. There's a time and a place for sports. The place? Mid-Continent. And with more dedicated sports channels than ever, including local sports on Midco Sportsnet, the time is anytime, all the time. More sports on Mid-Continent. It's on. Build your own bundle and save today.
Band practice again at 3:30. Someone stole my car.
Hold the phone. I got my boys at Fix-A-Hoopties to trick out your ride. What do you think? It's tight, right?
Okay, that looks exactly the same.
Didn't your mama tell you? It's the inside that counts. Check this out.
Shut up.
Crisp, clean, thirst-quenching Sprite, never out of reach. Show 'em a motto. By the way, you owe $37,000.
Wells Fargo knows that everyone has a vision for their future. Everyone has a someday they'd like to reach. It could be saving up for your kids' college, or buying a home, or it could be retirement.
Zap, bang, pow. DSU students have special powers as they wield tablet PCs on a campus with 100% wireless internet access where 90% of the class seats are powered to recharge. Learn more at dsu.edu. Technically, we're better.
What does All-American mean to you? Service, selection, and excellence. At Prostrado All-American Auto Mall, we've been committed to serving you and your vehicle since 1957. With more than 400 new and used GMs, Fords, and Chryslers to choose from, we value selection. We also strive for excellence every single day. Our friendly, knowledgeable, and highly trained staff is always available to help you. Service, selection, and excellence. That's our All-American promise at Prostrado All-American Auto Mall in Madison or online at ProstradoAutomall.com.
From welcoming our latest just-born miracle to providing compassionate care for our most experienced seniors, Madison Community Hospital is in touch with life. This is where you'll find expert medical professionals who know how to help and heal you, and probably even know you by name. When you need us, we're right here, providing world-class health care in a hometown hospital. Madison Community Hospital, in touch with life.
I might say, wow, DSU students have special powers. But then you'd picture a crew of Cape Commandos locked in epic battle mode with troglodyte scientists and big brain ninjas. Which is beside the fact that DSU students wield tablet PCs so they can study with confidence on a campus with 100% wireless internet access where 90% of the class seats are powered to recharge. A quick pick of what makes DSU students especially powerful. Learn more at dsu.edu. Technically, we're better. I might.
He shoots, he scores! Right and it just slipped. The kick is up. Pass to the corner, in front, all alone.
There's a time and a place for sports. The place? Mid-Continent. And with more dedicated sports channels than ever, including local sports on Midco Sportsnet, the time is anytime, all the time. More sports on Mid-Continent. It's on. Build your own bundle and save today.
practicing at 3:30. Someone stole my car.
Hold the phone. I got my boys at Fix-A-Hoopties to trick out your ride. What do you think? It's tight, right?
Okay, that looks exactly the same.
Didn't your mama tell you? It's the inside that counts. Check this out.
Shut up.
Crisp, clean, thirst-quenching Sprite, never out of reach. Show 'em a motto. By the way, you owe $37,000.
Wells Fargo knows that everyone has a vision for their future. Everyone has a someday they'd like to reach. It could be saving up for your kids' college, or buying a home, or it could be retirement. That's why for over 150 years, our mission has been to make the road that leads you to your someday a little easier. Seize your someday. Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo knows that everyone has a vision for their future. Everyone has a someday they'd like to reach. It could be saving up for your kids' college, or buying a home, or it could be retirement. That's why for over 150 years, our mission has been to make the road that leads you to your someday a little easier. Seize your someday. Wells Fargo.
Zap, bang, pow. DSU students have special powers as they wield tablet PCs on a campus with 100% wireless internet access where zap, bang, pow. DSU students have special powers as they wield tablet PCs on a campus with 100% wireless internet access where 90% of the class seats are powered to recharge. Learn more at dsu.edu. Technically, we're better.
What does All-American mean to you? Service, selection, and excellence. At Prostrado All-American Auto Mall, we've been committed to serving you and your vehicle since 1957. With more than 400 new and used GMs, Fords, and Chryslers to choose from, we value selection. We also strive for excellence every single day. Our friendly, knowledgeable, and highly trained staff is always available to help you. Service, selection, and excellence. That's our All-American promise at Prostrado All-American Auto Mall in Madison or online at ProstradoAutomall.com.
From welcoming our latest just-born miracle to providing compassionate care for our most experienced seniors, Madison Community Hospital is in touch with life. This is where you'll find expert medical professionals who know how to help and heal you, and probably even know you by name. When you need us, we're right here, providing world-class health care in a hometown hospital. Madison Community Hospital, in touch with life.
I might say, wow, DSU students have special powers. But then you'd picture a crew of Cape Commandos locked in epic battle mode with troglodyte scientists and big brain ninjas. Which is beside the fact that DSU students wield tablet PCs so they can study with confidence. On a campus with 100% wireless internet access where 90% of the class seats are powered to recharge. A quick pick of what makes DSU students especially powerful. Learn more at dsu.edu. Technically, we're better. I might.
He shoots, he scores! Right and it just left the kick in. Pass to the corner, in front, all alone.
There's a time and a place for sports. The place? Mid-Continent. And with more dedicated sports channels than ever, including local sports on Midco Sportsnet, the time is anytime, all the time. More sports on Mid-Continent. It's on. Build your own bundle and save today.
Band practice again at 3:30. Someone stole my car.
Hold the phone. I got my boys at Fix-A-Hoopties to trick out your ride. What do you think? It's tight, right?
Okay, that looks exactly the same.
Didn't your mama tell you? It's the inside that counts. Check this out.
Shut up.
Crisp, clean, thirst-quenching Sprite, never out of reach. Show 'em a motto. By the way, you owe $37,000.
Wells Fargo knows that everyone has a vision for their future. Everyone has a someday they'd like to reach. It could be saving up for your kids' college, or buying a home, or it could be retirement. That's why for over 150 years, our mission has been to make the road that leads you to your someday a little easier. Seize your someday. Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo knows that everyone has a vision for their future. Everyone has a someday they'd like to reach. It could be saving up for your kids' college, or buying a home, or it could be retirement. That's why for over 150 years, our mission has been to make the road that leads you to your someday a little easier. Seize your someday. Wells Fargo.
Zap, bang, pow. DSU students have special powers as they wield tablet PCs on a campus with 100% wireless internet access where 90% of the class seats are powered to recharge. Learn more at dsu.edu. Technically, we're better.
What does All-American mean to you? Service, selection, and excellence. At Prostrado All-American Auto Mall, we've been committed to serving you and your vehicle since 1957. With more than 400 new and used GMs, Fords, and Chryslers to choose from, we value selection. We also strive for excellence every single day. Our friendly, knowledgeable, and highly trained staff is always available to help you. Service, selection, and excellence. That's our All-American promise at Prostrado All-American Auto Mall in Madison or online at ProstradoAutomall.com.
From welcoming our latest just-born miracle to providing compassionate care for our most experienced seniors, Madison Community Hospital is in touch with life. This is where you'll find expert medical professionals who know how to help and heal you, and probably even know you by name. When you need us, we're right here, providing world-class health care in a hometown hospital. Madison Community Hospital, in touch with life.
I might say, wow, DSU students have special powers. But then you'd picture a crew of Cape Commandos locked in epic battle mode with troglodyte scientists and big brain ninjas. Which is beside the fact that DSU students wield tablet PCs so they can study with confidence. On a campus with 100% wireless internet access where 90% of the class seats are powered to recharge.
And for rushing total yards, 16 for 48 yards for DSU, and for Waldorf, 26 for 86. Passing, 95 for Dakota State, 109 for Waldorf. Total offense, 143 for Dakota State and 195 for Waldorf.
So thanks for the stats update. We're ready to kick off. Waldorf will be kicking off to Dakota State. Again, sun is now gone for the second half. Field lit by artificial lights. Nice clear visibility for everyone. And so here's a squib kick. Picked up midfield. Oh, what a breakthrough. Nice run back by, I don't know if that's Justin Summers doing that. No, they'll give that to Romack. Again, they're sharing a number. Number 4. So Trojans on the field, no huddle offense. They've got Opdahl and Hale to the right, Waldner to the left. And Christner is going to get the call, and he breaks it through right away. First down, he's still on his feet, heading toward the sidelines, finally gets knocked out around the 25-yard line. Big gain already for Jeremy Christner, probably doubled his output for the day. As Andy said, 9 carries for 22 yards for Christner. And he now just breaks through for at least that many yards. 26 on the carry, so more than doubles. He gets it again, finds his seam, gets through, out of bounds. No, they'll say his knee was down before, so the clock continues to run. We're just underway after halftime. Trojans trail by a touchdown. Andy, it's good to see our offense moving down the field nicely this first drive.
Yes, it sure is. We tried to score there at the end of the first half and couldn't quite come up with it, and they come right back and head into the end zone.
Wow, nice drag. I think that was, Davian Banks. And he just keeps hauling and picks up a Dakota State first down. They're now on the 13-yard line, threatening only 1:11 into the quarter. Here's Banks, makes a move or two, can't get much traction there. Maybe picks up a yard. So the Trojans will be 2nd and 9 from the 12. You had no huddle all day for the Trojans. I think defenses have largely adapted to the no huddle offenses. Giles calls something a little bit of an audible. May have been set up in advance. 8 seconds on the play clock. Giles cuts it under to Waldner. Waldner was getting ready to run a little bit before he had that ball in play. Big play, 3rd and 9. Trojans would like to get that first down. 2 wide to the right, Opdahl and Hale. Giles looking across the middle. Almost intercepted. Going for Waldner again, down at the 1-yard line. That would have been a first down had he held on to it. And so now a 4th down. Nick Barron's coming in, looking for a field goal. This would be his 2nd field goal of the game. Waldorf scored first on the touchdown. Dakota State came back with a field goal and a touchdown to take the lead at the end of the first quarter. Waldorf, a field goal and a touchdown in the second quarter to retake the lead. This is the first scoring attempt for the second half. Barron's not close. Going to be short and right. Don't know if that was hit or something happened there. In any sense, Waldorf takes over 1st and 10 at the 12-yard line. Not a bad drive for the Trojans, though, Andy.
No, it sure wasn't. It was a good drive, went down the field, got some points. Now, defense again.
And a stellar defense it's been so far. We're just under 13 minutes. Of course, both teams have all their timeouts left. Well, here's a whistle. They're going to move the ball to the near hash mark. Under center. Sanchez hands it off, and who's going to break through? Looks like can't see that very well. Looks like is that Ampaw, Julian Ampaw? Okay, thank you. Sanchez again in the shotgun, 2 wide left. Snaps, hands it off. Ampaw again. Ampaw getting his first couple of carries for that game. Again, Pollock carried the ball at the beginning. Looked like he was going to carry it all day. Ends up 12 carries for 66 yards, but hasn't carried it in a while. Here's a pass to the side. Sanchez gets it out to Vibert Green. Still 3rd and 6. 11:45 remaining, third quarter. Here's some cowbells, something below the press box here. Trying to make a little noise, supporting the defense. Sanchez rolls left. He's in trouble, though. And he's going to get taken down for a sack. Who's going to get credit for that?
Sanchez going down for a loss by number 42. Ben Cullis, number 98.
Ben Cullis.
Yep, Cullis is in there, as was Bronson Arguello. So they'll probably split that sack, each get a half. 4 players that were tied for the team lead after the second game with 1 sack each. Cullis, 16.5 tackles, leads the Trojans in average tackles per game. Here's Waldner. He calls for the fair catch and picks it up at the 32. Trojans will take over 1st and 10. Let's see if this drive can result in some points. continue to move the ball.
DSU takes over, 1st and 10.
Total yards favoring Waldorf, but not by much, 205 to 181. They lead slightly in both rushing and passing. Giles takes the handoff, gets it to Banks. He gets up the middle, picks up about 4 yards.
Adrian Banks, the ball carrier. 42. Picks up 3 yards on the play, 2nd and 7 for the Trojans.
Ball at the 36-yard line, 2nd and 7. Giles in the shotgun. He's got Banks behind him. Hands off again. Finds a seam. He breaks through and it's going to pick up about another 4 yards. So Trojans will face a 3rd and 2. You average 4 yards apiece. That will get you to move the change.
Down by number 30, Tykarius Brooks, 3rd and 2.
Giles fakes as though he's going to take the snap, but delays. Here's a handoff to Banks to the right side. He breaks through. He's got the first down and more. Getting dragged down. He gets past midfield to the 49-yard line. 1st and 10 Trojans. Now Banks comes off and Christner back in. He did his job, right, Andy?
Yes, he sure did.
Trojans just into Waldorf territory. Christner gets it. He looks for that same seam that Banks got, but no gain here, maybe a yard. Again, that's that quarterback read option. Giles has the option of taking it himself to the right or Christner to the left. He chooses to hand off. He takes the snap, hands it off. Christner's going to head up the middle. He'll get a couple more. But now Trojans will face a 3rd and 5. Again, they converted last time. Banks scampered around the right side to pick up that first down. First downs even, 9 apiece for both teams. Again, pretty close game in all aspects. Slight edge statistically to Waldorf, and they have a 1-touchdown lead. Giles goes deep. He's got 2 receivers down there. Knocked away at the last minute. Nordling's asking for interference call. Opdahl down there as well. But I couldn't see which defender flew in at the last minute and knocked it away. Fourth and 5. So Behrens comes on. And he will again take a look at this. He gets a nice traditional punt. Goes this time for the left corner. And it kicks out of bounds right around the 20-yard line. Nope, made it down to the 15. So effective punt for Nick Behrens. He had a couple last week inside too, inside the 20 that I think paid off in field position for the Trojans.
Yeah, Nick Behrens sure has got the leg.
Here's Waldorf, 1st and 10. We were talking about Behrens getting it inside. 2 of those inside the 20. Looks like Green around the corner. It's going to pick up 6 yards, let's say. 2nd and 4. We're now at 8:10 remaining in 3rd quarter. Both teams have all their timeouts. Sanchez still in the shotgun. He hands it off. And it looks like Pollock is back.
46, 42. Kevin Pollock, the ball carrier, picks up the Waldorf.
So after a bit of a break, he gets his 13th carry for the night. now up over 70 yards and a new first down for Waldorf. That's their 10th first down. Actually, Green leads the team in yards per carry, 2 attempts for 21 yards, including that last one for 6. Here's a nice stop and the loss for the Warriors.
What number is that?
And ball back now to the 24-yard line.
Slot receiver.
We got Montego, the kick carrier. Off the 2.
Sanchez in the shotgun again. Now 3 wide receivers to the left, to the open side of the field. And they run a screen pass to the left. Boom. And a nice tackle. I think we're going to give that to Hunter Smith, the junior from Sioux Falls. Transferred from Morningside College. You've had several Morningside players transfer to Dakota State. 3rd and 4. It's the big play to keep this drive alive for the Warriors. They have a 7-point lead here mid-3rd quarter. Sanchez back by himself. No, he gives it to Pollock. No, he keeps it himself. He's not going to get the 4 yards. Tries to push it forward a little bit, but he's still going to be at least a yard short. So 4th and 1, and they'll bring on the punt team. Waldner back at about the 20-yard line. Dustin Wilkie ready to punt. He's standing at the 20. So again, easier for Waldner to come up on that. He doesn't want it to go over his head. But Wilkie's had plenty of time, has not been challenged. Now that'll be a 5-yard bump, a delay of game. Every 5 yards helps. So now Wilkie standing on the 15-yard line and Waldner up to almost the 30. Waldner comes up to field that, lets it go again. Stops pretty much in play and goes to the 29-yard line. 1st and 10 Trojans, 5:18 remaining in the 3rd quarter. See if they can get a sustained drive here and put some points on the board. Last 2 drives. First one ended in a field goal attempt that missed right and short. Trojans have 3 wide receivers on the field. And, oh my goodness, we all thought Banks was the receiver, and instead Giles somehow bootlegged that. I got to see that one again. Who's got that? So this time Banks does get it. He breaks through. He's got a chance to get down the sideline. He's down to the 30, the 25. Gets knocked out of bounds right around the 20-yard line. Wow. Electric running for Davian Banks. And a new Trojan first down. They're going to start taking the statistical lead, I think, with these couple of strong drives. In fact, I think with that, they will lead now in total yards over Waldorf. Still trail by a touchdown, so they need to punch this one in, get a score of some sort. Here's Giles back to pass, fires it over to Waldner. Gets out of bounds at about the 13 or 14-yard line. They'll mark it right in that area. So Waldner, just his second catch. He had a 37-yarder in the first half and now this one, so again, yards per reception, pretty strong. 2nd and 3, 7-yard gain on that one. So Waldner now 44 yards total on 2 receptions. Opdahl has 4. Here's Giles. He's going to fire it in the corner. A little bit dangerous there, but no harm. Clock stops, of course, 4:10 remaining. Beautiful sunset to the west, Trojan fans. So if you're listening on your cell phone, take a look to the west or out your window at home. Crisp night. Maybe a few jackets, some long sleeve shirts. Beautiful evening. Here's Banks. Oh, he breaks through. He's got the first down. And he's down to about the 5-yard line. Trojans need to punch this one in. They'll have 4 chances. 1st and goal. We do have a injured Warrior here. They send the training crew out. Again, the clock stopped. We don't have an injury report for Waldorf on those first half injuries, and of course, we haven't seen quarterback Cody Smith since mid-second quarter. And I see either some sort of drone or model airplane. Looks like a drone just above the scoreboard. See that red light up there?
Is that Kyle's? Could be Cody's.
So they got a webcam on that thing or something, do you suppose?
Probably aerial pictures.
Photographs. So drone inside Trojan Field now. Giles in the shotgun. 1st and goal from the 7. He's looking for Tisch. He gets held. They'll throw that. That's an easy one. Giles looked for Tisch all the way, so this will take it down to about the 1-yard line. I believe that's where that gets thrown if it's in the end zone. Getting Tisch involved, I think, is the key to this offense. 2-yard line, my mistake. So automatic first down, 1st and goal from the 2. 2 running backs, both Christner and Banks. Again, Christner in the 3-point stance like he scored the first touchdown. They'll do that again. He'll carry the pile in, and that's a touchdown. Trojans 1 point short of a tie. Let's see if we can get this conversion. Trojans 16, Waldorf 17. Christner scored the same way he did the first touchdown. 3-point stance from very close in. Bowls his way through. They keep Banks behind him. You'd have to be worried about that if you're a defensive end. A quick pitch to Banks on either side would be a walk if you focus too much on Christner. Now Nick Behrens, calm and collected. The ball's down, kick is up, and good. Tie ball game. Nick Behrens ties this game up, 17-all. And again, Trojans now taking the overall yardage lead, 269 to 225. Numbers starting to move in favor of the Trojans. 166 yards on the ground to 106 for Waldorf. Passing still at 103. A little thin for the passing game. 8 for 23 for Giles with 1 interception, no touchdowns, 103 yards. So they're relying on Banks and Christner mostly, although Hagen Hines has 47 yards on 4 carries. Much of that coming in a 34-yard scamper. And again, Pollock back in the game for Waldorf now. Some frenetic music getting ready for this kickoff here. If they put me in prison, they'd have to play that music to punish me, I'm afraid. Here's the kickoff, and a squib kick. A short reception, but he's got a lane to work with. Behrens is there, boom. It looks like a fullback. I can't see now. It looks like he may be holding his knee, but he jumps up. LeVar Johnson Jr. He's acting more like a fullback there. He has one reception for 41 yards. Another injured player. That's a host of injuries today for Waldorf. Johnson was able to get up, but we have not identified the uniform number of the other player. And again, being carried off. That's Chris McDearman, freshman running back from Las Vegas, special teams player. He's not a regular on offense or defense, but looks like a leg injury of some sort that he's suffering. Get a couple of strong guys, lift him off the field. And Waldorf will take over. Trojan 49-yard line. Sanchez in the shotgun. 3:29 remaining in the third quarter. We're tied here at Trojan Field. Warriors and Trojans. Handoff inside. Looks like to Pollock. And he'll pick up about 3. Pollock leads all carriers with 74 yards. Christner leads the Trojans with 55. Hagen's 47, Banks 36, not far behind. 2nd and 7 from the 46. Sanchez to pass. He swings it to the right. It was wide open. And they're going to drive him out of bounds. But that'll be a first down for the Warriors. That's their 11th first down on the day. Trojans have 13, again, mostly on the strength of that last drive. Clock continues to run. During the next timeout or break, Sanchez gets ready to pass, gets bumped by his own running back, and recovered, somehow threw it for a pass for little or no gain. But it's possibly could have fumbled on that, caused by his own playing. That would be maybe that was the Mark Sanchez butt fumble thing. And this is instead the Isaac Sanchez knock fumble from behind. 2nd and 9 from the 35. Now Sanchez under center, single running back, 2 wides to the right. Pitch to the left to Pollock. He swings around. He's going to be gobbled up. Nice tackling by the Trojans. Maybe Danny Jordan was in there. So 3rd and 9. We're approaching the end of the third quarter again. Terrific game here at Trojan Field. Remember, it was close back and forth between Dort and Dakota State last week. Waldorf just played one game so far, a non-conference game, lost that. Here's Sanchez, throws it wild, it's out of bounds, and so the Warriors will be forced to punt. I suspect that's what they're going to do, but now they're looking to the sideline. What should we do? too long for a field goal. There might be some question whether you go for that you don't gain that much position, but I think it's smart to punt here. Now we don't see any receiver for back for the Trojans, so Wilkie could just try to put it. And it's a bit short. You got to watch where that's going. It gets down to about the 10 or 11 yard line. We see some Trojans looking away from that ball. That's a dangerous thing to do, because if it touches in any form a Trojan in that case, it's a live ball and can be picked up by either team. .108 remaining third quarter. Remember, next DSU home football game is homecoming, Saturday, October 3rd against Trinity Bible here at Trojan Field. Make sure you come out, enjoy the parade, festivities, a great day all around. Alumni from all over, you're welcome back to your alma mater. Looks like Banks is working a little bit, picks up a few yards. Under a minute remaining in the third quarter. Tied 17 all. Be a 2nd and 8 for the Trojans. They go a traditional huddle this time. And dig into the pile. Not much gain there, but a little. Maybe 4 or 5 yards there, so Trojans will face a third down. We guess the clock will probably run out before this play is run. We will see. Giles calls the play. 8 seconds. Nope, they won't do it. That's the end of the third quarter. The score, Dakota State University Trojans 17, Waldorf Warriors 17. We'll be back in about 90 seconds here on DSUathletics.com. Hagen Hines picks up a Trojan first down. Now up to about the 25-yard line. Be nice to have a good drive here and take a lead. Trojans have a long ways to go, though. 75 yards to score. Here's Giles, hands it off. No go this time. In fact, probably a loss or two.
Hines, the ball carrier.
Again, running game working pretty well for the Trojans. 172 yards. No one standout. Several. Hines now starting to get carries again. He's averaging 12 yards a carry. Now it looks like Giles is going to hand up to Banks, who fumbles it. He runs around. He'll get tackled from behind. No, he's escaped somehow, but he'll still lose a lot of yards on that. It's better than a turnover, but the Trojans now face a third and really long. And another injured Waldorf player.
54.
You have to send a bus for for the ambulance instead of a. Must have at least 5 players now, either limping off the field or carried off the field. We're tied 17-all here at Trojan Field, 13:44 remaining. Let's go over some team statistics during this injury break. First downs in favor of the Trojans, 14-11. Total rushing yards favor the Dakota State, 178-109. Passing yards favor Waldorf, 130-103. So total yards pretty close, 276, 239. The edge goes to DSU. 3 fumbles in the game, all recovered by the fumbling team, so no fumbles lost so far. Fair number of more penalties for Waldorf, 6 for 41 yards. Trojans have just 2 for 10. Possession time favors Waldorf, 25.5 minutes to 19.5 minutes. Here's Giles in the shotgun. He has Christner behind him. They go way downfield. Here's Opdahl, gets bumped and nearly intercepted. Defender was Wesley Charles, the freshman from Miami, Florida. I don't know what happened exactly, but it looks like it hit him in the face mask. He had a shot at that. Opdahl probably had a step, but Giles' pass a little lofty, so everyone had a chance at it. So Barron's on to punt, 13.5 minutes remaining. We'd like to get a little field position, but Waldorf looks like they may get it right around midfield. Oh, beautiful punt. That'll send them back. A little dancing back there. Boom. He's still to make it up the field. Oh, my goodness. That was a long run back, probably 30-yard run back, and brings the negates part of Barron's great punt. They're at about midfield, the Trojan 47-yard line. Waldorf takes over 1st and 10. Lots of time for both teams here. Tie ball game. Referees and other officials getting all set. Here's a handoff. Next looks like green. No, that might be. Sorry, that's Ampaw again. Ampaw picks up about 8 yards on that. 2nd and 2. Sanchez goes under center this time. A lot of substitutions for Waldorf, not only because of those injuries, just some other. Boom! Met him at the same time. But Cooper Hausman defending there, but First and 10 for Waldorf, down to the 30-yard line. We're in the 4th quarter here at Trojan Field. And probably a false start. Yep, that's the call, so that'll cost Waldorf. We want to thank the DSU Athletic Department for upgrading the official sound system. We can now hear the penalty calls much more clearly. Fire over to the side. It's going to get out of bounds. Back to about the original line of scrimmage. It'll be 2nd and 10. Clock continues to run. We're at 11:43 remaining in the game. 2nd and 9 officially. DSU fans calling for defense. Boom, gets through the middle. That's going to be Ampaw again. Starting to rack up a few yards. He's now 3rd on the Warriors in rushing and probably heading towards 2nd. Again, Pollock with 15 carries and 74 yards. Leading them. He had an 18-yarder, the longest run of the day. Hagen Hines had a 34-yarder for the Trojans. Bunch them in on the line. They're showing blitz. But hands it off to Ampaw. He goes around the corner. He gets down a 1st down. And Waldorf approaching the end zone.
Picks up the Warrior 1st down. Ball on the 11-yard line of the Trojans.
1st and 10. They can get a 1st down before they get a touchdown, so they're at the 11-yard line. Now 2 wide receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Sanchez in the shotgun. Looks like Ampaw up the middle again. Now he's definitely 2nd on the team in rushing behind Pollock. For not appearing, I don't believe, until the 2nd half. Second and 5 from the 6. We're just crossing the 10-minute mark. Sanchez late handoff to Ampaw. Dives for the end zone. He'll be short. Feels like an inevitability right now that they'll be in some form. So Trojans looking for maybe a turnover, a fumble, or something here. But Waldorf's been gobbling up the yards. 2 wideouts to the left. Here's a handoff inside. And they call it touchdown. Waldorf, they take the lead 23-17 here at Trojan Field.
2-yard touchdown run for number 9, Julian
Ampaw really carrying the load in this 4th quarter drive. Again, the sophomore from Hamburg, Germany. 6'1", 225. And we'll see if Wilkie can convert and get that one. It's a chip shot for him. So Waldorf takes a full touchdown lead, 24-17. Trojans have their work cut out for them. There's plenty of time for a drive or 2 or even more here in the 4th quarter. We'll take a 60-second break here on DSUathletics.com. We're back at Trojan Field. The Waldorf Warriors 24, Dakota State Trojans 17. And here's the kickoff. All the way back, looks like Banks at the goal line. He's got a crowd there, but he still draws now a couple of flags on the play. 3 flags comes down. We'll sort out these penalties and see where the ball ends up. It'll still be Trojans' ball. A face mask on the defense. That's worth a nice 15 yards. So Trojans, after Banks stumbles at the goal line, will end up with the ball at the 39-yard line. Banks up the middle, picks up about 4 or 5 yards. That'll work. I think they'll be satisfied with that. Second and 5 for the Trojans. Now clock down to 8:43. Giles in the pocket, gets flushed out, keeps moving, ends up picking up a few yards, getting back almost to the line of scrimmage. Christner's coming in for Banks. You see Tisch there again, 1 reception for 8 yards. Just not much of a passing game tonight. That was a kind of a foiled play, but here's Christner, probably about a yard short of the first down. We will see. It's close enough probably to go for. If it were 4th down, it is only 3rd. And it looks like they're going to call a timeout, an official's timeout to measure.
Next Saturday at Jamestown with a kickoff at 1 o'clock. On Saturday, September 26th, DSU visits St. Andrews.
Let's go over the Trojan schedule coming up. We talked about those first 3 games at home. This is the 3rd game of that homestand. First down for the Trojans. 2 road games coming up at Jamestown of North Dakota and at St. Ambrose in Iowa. Back for homecoming here at Trojan Field. That's a 3 p.m. game against Trinity Bible. The following Saturday at Valley City State in North Dakota, again a conference game. Home against Dickinson, then on the road against Mayville. So back and forth for several mid-season games. Then finally presentation at home, and then the November 8th game, neutral site. Here's Christner, breaks through. He's going to be getting to the left side. Almost broke that through. Probably picks up 6 yards, though. That's the kind of play you like on first down. He comes off. They put Banks in at running back. Christner shaking his head like he knew he could break that off if it weren't for that last tackler. Trojans past midfield. They're down to the Waldorf 46-yard line, 2nd and 5. Giles in the shotgun. He looks to pass. He's going deep. Who's he got? Boom! I can't tell it. Down to the 2-yard line. Is that Waldner? Yeah, it is. It's Brendan Waldner, the Madison High School graduate. Connects from his old high school quarterback, Jacob Giles. And gets a first down. Down 1st and goal. Very near the goal line, probably at about the 2. Giles hustles back in. There's a 12 seconds on the play clock. Let's see if they can get this off. 8 seconds, 6, 4. And they just buried into the line. That doesn't work. They probably rushed it a little bit. Get a restart of that play clock. 6:45. Trojans would love to tie this up now. It'll depend on a lot of the foot of Nick Behrens to get that conversion, too. Got plenty of time on the play clock this time. They don't have to rush that. Still, they run that. Look at that familiar tight offense. Just Opdahl to the right. Christner up short in the three-point stance. This time it's a pitch to Banks. He's going to get in. And there's a fumble, and it goes to Waldorf. A critical fumble right at the goal line. Davian Banks looked like he was going to be in. Instead, fumbles before he gets to the touchdown line, and Trojans squander a huge opportunity. Could have tied this game with 6:13 remaining. Instead, now have to play defense and get that ball back. So Waldorf takes over, and the quarterback will take the snap in the end zone. They might even take a safety here. It's hard to say. Sanchez looks like he's going to go under center for the first play. Trojans trail by 7. He gives a little quarterback spin. They try to drive him back. He's still, they'll give him forward progress to about the line of scrimmage. Trojans need to contain and get this ball back. A great long drive for the Trojans, ending in disaster with a fumble. We see Nick Behrens on the sideline getting prepared, see if he can put the foot into it for an extra point conversion or a field goal. And a dropped pass, so now a 3rd and long, 3rd and 10 on the 1 yard line, still 99 yards to go for a touchdown. This is a big play. If Trojans can contain here, then Waldorf would have to punt out of its own end zone on a short kick. Normally, the punter stands about 15 yards back from scrimmage. There would only be 11 yards between the line of scrimmage and the back of the end zone. So sometimes those are blocked. Sanchez back to pass. He makes the pick, and he's going to get the first down. Reception goes to Lamont Johnson. Crucial 3rd down conversion for Waldorf. Now they've got some breathing room. 1st and 10, a clock approaching 5 minutes. So the clock is going to start to be the enemy unless the Trojans can get the ball back here. But also they've got yardage room. They aren't pressed against their own end zone. We would guess that they would run the play clock down. They are. They're standing 10-9. Finally take it. Hands off inside. Run the ball, so that'll continue to let the clock run. Might be the play of the game. Really is that 3rd and 10 conversion from the 1 yard line to get a first down. Probably gobble up at least 3 minutes. Second and 8 from the 19, 4.5 minutes remaining. Trojans need to stop Waldorf in this series. Sanchez under center. He hands off. Drags the pile a little bit. Believe that's Ampaw. Third and 4. And again, another big 3rd down, a stop needed by the Trojans. Sanchez filling in for Smith at the quarterback. Again, they worked that play clock down. Now we're at 3:45 on the game clock, 7 seconds on the play clock, 4 seconds, 2. They snap it just in time. Pass from Sanchez. No wide receiver open. Can he get it? He'll get the first down. He gets hit, and he will pick up the first down. that might be enough to start running this clock out. Trojans still had 3 timeouts.
Sanchez on the carry.
We'll see how they mark this. They will ask for a measurement, come all the way across the field.
He went out of bounds, number 42, Ben Thomas.
That's a long way to go across the field. 50 yards.
Reminder of the completion of tonight's game. Alumni and fans are invited to attend the 5th quarter event at Stadium Sports Grill. Stadium is located on
Clock stopped at 3:28. This would be 4th down if it's not a successful first down. First down, Waldorf. And that's going to gobble up a lot more clock against these Trojans. Trojans had that opportunity right at the goal line. After a long reception by Brendan Waldner, a short rush by Jeremy Christner didn't get in. A pitch to Devian Banks fumbled at the goal line, and since then, Waldorf has just been gobbling up the clock. Now they have 4 new plays with only 3:28. Again, 3 timeouts for the Trojans. They need to get the ball back and get the ball in the end zone. Clock starts after the measurement. Still 20 seconds on the play clock. They'll work it down. That's their goal. Play clock down to 6. They take the snap. Hands off to Ampaw. He'll be thrown for a loss, but the clock continues to run. Clock now stopped. Timeout Trojans. So they need to get the stop here. 3:02 remaining.
Association football team is being sponsored by Dakota Bank. Here and for you in dozens of hometowns in the Dakotas of Minnesota and everywhere online at dakotabank.com. It's good to be in Dakota territory.
Before today's games, 2 undefeated teams in the NSAA, Presentation and Valley City State, both at 2-0. No one has played a conference game before today. 3 teams in the NSAA tied at 1-1, Dakota State, Dickinson State, and Mayville State. 2 teams winless, Jamestown 0-2 and Waldorf 0-2. Again, Trojans playing those 2 teams back-to-back. Waldorf tonight, Jamestown next week on the road. But again, 6 or 7 conference games for all teams. Again, 3:02. Ball won't, or the clock won't start until the ball is snapped. Sanchez under center. Play clock down to 8, but again, doesn't matter from our standpoint. Here's a flag. They're going to say illegal procedure. So that'll cost a few yards. Yep, the clock should not have started because the procedure was before that. So the timekeeper had started the clock and stopped it right away. But with a false start like that, then that occurs before the ball is ever snapped. Second and 19. No gain. Again, clock continues to run, but now it'll be a long 3rd down. Another timeout for the Trojans, so just 5 seconds off the clock on that case. Trojans having used 2 of its 3 second-half timeouts. So we will have, looks as though the Trojans will get the ball back. Probably under 2 minutes to play.
Association Conference opener visiting Mayville State on Friday Valley City State next Saturday.
Right, Trojans have 1 timeout left. So they could call another timeout if they let the clock run and use that, save the timeout for themselves. Then it would be under 2 minutes. But right now, 2:57, 3rd and 18, back at the 20-yard line. Trojans need to stop here, though. There's 2 consecutive 3rd down conversions for Waldorf has put the Trojans in this bind. Here's Sanchez under center. Clock starts on the snap, and there it is. He'll hand off to Ampaw, and he's going to get tackled. No gain. Looks like clock continues to run. And so 4th down. Waldner comes on the field. See if he can get a run back or at least get decent field position for the Trojans. Trojans saving that 1 timeout for their own drive, apparently. 15 seconds on the shot clock, so they'll punt it right around the 2:10 mark. There's no NFL timeout for the 2-minute warning. Again, to get down to 1 second before they snap it. Gets a decent one off. This time Waldner's going to field it. He takes it. He's going to go left. Shakes a man or two. Gets tackled, knocked back, and the clock stops with 2:01. So that's the number, 2:01. Trojans try to drive, Andy, and pick up 60 yards and a touchdown to tie this game.
Yes, they really need to show on this drive with last drive fumbling on the 1-yard line, which they could really have used that touchdown in that last possession.
They'll be on the far hash mark. Ball actually at the 39-yard line, 1st and 10. In this case, not necessarily trying to move the chains. They just need to gobble up some big chunks of yardage. Opdahl and Nordling to the right. They head out. Nordling crosses, but they'll go instead to Waldner, and he gets out the field. He gets a 1st down. Stays in bounds, but they will stop the clock temporarily to move the chains. They hustle back. Trojans get right back to scrimmage. You don't want to waste any seconds there. Giles takes the snap as soon as they start the clock. He looks back. This time he sees Bobby Tisch. He's going to get up the field. They'll have to stop the clock again. The clock is running. They get down to the 40, so now 40 yards to go, minute 34. 2nd and 5, or let's say 2nd and 4. Giles back to pass. And he gets it. A great play, Opdahl out of bounds. And that appears as though that will be a Trojan 1st down. The key was getting out of bounds. So now ball down to the 35 yards. Still a minute 23 and still that 1 timeout remaining. Giles in the shotgun. Christner next to him, 2 wide to the left, Opdahl to the right. They look to Opdahl right away. He gets it, gets knocked back, just a couple of yards gain. Gets the ball up quickly because clock continues to run. A minute 12. Down at about the 31-yard. Giles takes the snap. He looks. Tisch not open. They're going to throw it too much. Waldner was wide open. He was near the sideline, overthrew him, just had too much on it. That does stop the clock, 55 seconds. So a 2nd and 5 from the 30. But if Waldner could have gotten that, he could have probably gained another 10 yards, maybe down to about the 15, maybe even down to the 10. They're adding a couple seconds to the game clock, back to 57 from 55. Clock doesn't start until the snap here. Ball again, 30 yards to go to get the Trojans in the end zone. Less than a minute to do it. Here's the pass, gobbled up by Opdahl, and he's going to get the first down, so that stops the clock to move the chains. Again, now they're starting the clock again. Here's the Trojans. They're inside the 25. They're at the 24. Giles looking to the sideline. He gets Opdahl. He goes out of bounds. That'll stop the clock and gain a few yards. Importantly, stopping the clock. 39 seconds. Trojans now at the 21-yard line. 2nd and 7. They still have time, but they're going to have to start thinking about the end zone pretty soon. They still need to stop the clock on almost every play. They've got just one timeout. He goes to the sideline. This one batted down at the line of scrimmage. It does stop the clock as an incomplete pass, so no rush right now. Now, DSU calls a timeout. Not sure why. They didn't use it for clock management. They just might have wanted to talk about the next series of plays that they have. $36 seconds remaining. Waldorf 24, Dakota State 17. Well, Andy, so far these sideline passes have been working very effectively, especially to Austin Opdahl. Now with 8 receptions for 67 yards. Waldner has 4 receptions for 104. So both those, plus Nordling is in. So Opdahl, Nordling, Waldner, Tisch are the receivers, and Christner out of the backfield. Giles in the shotgun. He takes it. Sprints left. He's got some room to go. He fakes the throw. Now he throws it. Yep. And they said incomplete. So Waldner couldn't get his feet in, down to 29 seconds. 4th down. Now they do need to get the first down. 4th and 6. But they're not rushed here. The clock has stopped. Still 22 seconds on the play clock. But they have to get the first down here. Not necessarily a touchdown, but they have to get a first down. Ball on the 21-yard line. 4th down. Giles back to pass. He's got room. Now he scrambles out. He's in trouble. Can he make the first down on the run? I think he did not. He dives forward. But that's going to be turnover on downs, and so Waldorf will win this game unless they somehow fumble in the next 20 seconds, but that appears to be the game. We would guess that they would take a knee and run out the clock. Trojans out of timeouts. Giles made a valiant effort at the end to try to get that first down on his feet. Couldn't find a receiver, but couldn't get enough yards to get there. $20 seconds remaining. Waldorf takes over 1st and 10 on their own 17. Again, Sanchez takes a knee and lets the clock run. And that will be the end of the game. Counting down from 10, teams start to leave the field. And that's going to be it here from Trojan Field. Final score, Dakota State University 17, Waldorf 24. Waldorf picks up the first conference victory of the year, their first victory overall. They move to 1-2 overall and 1-0 in the conference. Dakota State loses its conference opener and goes to 1-2 on the season
and 0-1.
And 0-1 in the conference. So they will have another conference game next week at Jamestown. And again, Jamestown 0-2 in non-conference games before today. We don't know how they did today. But that game, every conference game counts. This first one lost for the Trojans. So we'll get some stats here for the end of the game. Again, final score 24-17. And for stats then, let's head over to Andy Hunter.
All right. For Waldorf, they're rushing. We got Kevin Pollock with 74 yards. Justin Atpaw with 48 and 1 touchdown. For Dakota State, Jeremy Krishner, 69 yards, 2 touchdowns. Hagen Hines, 53 yards. Devin Banks, 43. For passing, Cody Smith, 105 yards. Brendan Waldner, Jacob Giles for 187 yards. For receiving, 52 for Lamont Johnson. LeVar Johnson and 41 for Waldorf College. And for DSU, Brendan Wallner with 104 and Austin Opta with 67. For first down, 16 for Waldorf, 19 for Dakota State. 3 fumbles, 1 loss for Dakota State. 1 fumble for Waldorf, none lost. Penalties, Waldorf, 9 penalties for 66 yards. 2 penalties for the Trojans for 10 yards. 1 interception each.
So the critical play, of course, late in the game was that 1 lost fumble. Again, both teams not having fumbled the ball all day. Then the Trojans fumble it at the goal line and give the ball up just when they were about to tie the game at 24-all. Instead, turned the ball over. Trojans did have 1 more chance for a drive down the field, but couldn't convert on a 4th and 6. And the time runs out on the Trojans. So we're going to wrap it up here from Trojan Field. Again, final score, Waldorf College 24, DSU 17. We'll see you next time on DSUathletics.com.
Go